This allows you to navigate the issue of your various internal states and truly help A. yourself, B. truly help the company. When I reason like this, many people initially get the impression that this decision is very selfish. I even recommend it to some people: start working 4 hours a day, every day. 9 out of 10 people in this case are under the illusion that work brings them some development. They are endlessly searching. That is, companies that care about us just showing up to work. Too many conflicts arise. Should one defend their interest in another country or not? Or does it not matter at all? Work should be interesting. Work should bring pleasure. Work should bring joy. Work should be harmonious. There should be great management, and you should like your colleagues. I should like the office, or I should work remotely. There are a huge number of additional parameters inside. So what difference does it make what the job is? Imagine that you have the task where you are getting a job solely to earn money. It sounds, by the way, very strange, because everyone will say, well, we get a job to earn money. But in reality, later, when you survey thousands of people, everyone starts to have a huge number of additional requests and tasks, not focusing on the main task. Why did I start making a video on this topic? Because I have someone, a close person, to whom I have been saying for several years over a long period in conversations: focus on the fact that you need a job only to earn money. This person experiences very specific emotions each time and a state of some disagreement. That is, the person cannot concentrate on this and move forward because a huge number of additional aspects arise again, which are emotionally important for the person. Yes, for example, what model of behavior communication with a manager at work, yes? Or what model of behavior communication with subordinates? Or how do clients there inside the company relate to the product? Many people start declaring all sorts of things: what the company's mission is, what the goals are, what the value is, and so on. They get into details. What is the problem? When I say to focus on making money, of course, I am by no means saying that you can do absolutely anything just to earn money. The question is, what is truly primary for you, which allows you firstly, to maximize and achieve maximum efficiency in terms of the time invested, various resources, and completed tasks in order to make money. And secondly, in order not to lose focus based on your internal psychological traumas or various ancestral traumas, deep, spiritual, karmic, and completely different stories, in order not to focus on them and not constantly delve into these topics. In most cases, a person works as a marketer, or a person works as a sales manager, or a person works as a marketing director, or a person works as a general director. It is incredibly important to concentrate, fundamentally concentrate, and always focus on the most important task for you, which is to earn money. Why, when you want to make money, many people start saying, I want to make money, earn money, and at the same time, I want to have fun at work, or be in a good mood, or so that I enjoy work so much that I don't need a break from it. People want interesting work, and this interest creates a fundamental problem. When at work you need to make a decision, you automatically, subconsciously start to base it on whether this is interesting or not interesting, right or wrong from the perspective of your internal state. You do not focus on a simple thing from the very beginning, absolutely from the very start. A manager comes and says to do a project. You immediately look at it like this. If I do this project, it will increase my income. Or if I do this project, overall, it will allow me to earn money. If this project is done, the manager will be satisfied. And as a result, in any case, I will earn money. You go through such a block and immediately, automatically, you remove from yourself those situations that are circulating inside you in parallel. From the perspective of, for example, what if I disagree with the manager? I express my position to him and he doesn't like it. And overall, I don't want to do this task. I think he made it up. And you start going into a lot of thoughts instead of just taking and doing the task. Here's a story where a person goes into interesting projects or interesting jobs. It is actually very important. A person begins to engage in what we might call self-development, which is very relative, by the way, very relative development. It's self-interest, it's ego. A person focuses solely on their own personality and not on the fundamental goal for which they came to work, to earn money on the one hand, and on the other hand, if a person easily overcomes their psychophysical, emotional, various hereditary karmic barriers and reasons, then at that moment they have the opportunity to truly help the company. When I reason like this, many people initially get the impression that this decision is very selfish. I even recommended to some people, start working 4 hours a day every day. They say, how 4 hours? Our workday is 8 hours. Start working as little as possible, focused, to see if you can earn money. The fact is, if you are an adequate person and you live in a mode of true life and true values, when you know that you do not want to deceive anyone, you do not want to deceive management, you do not want to deceive colleagues, you do not want to deceive yourself, you do not want to deceive the world. You live from the perspective of the laws of the universe, wanting to carry, benefit other people, treat other people humanely. So when you remove various problems that are within your personality and focus solely on one motive from the perspective of earning money, it allows you to truly see, do the tasks you are doing help the company? The tasks you will do, are they really needed by other people or not? You do not get into unnecessary arguments and unnecessary conflicts. Too many conflicts arise. I have a lot of different projects and tasks. I am involved in a huge number of businesses, in a very large number of tasks with different people. In communication, interaction with people, no matter what situation arises, the most difficult situation, whatever arises, in absolutely any situation, I first go to the main goal that I have set for myself. It could be the goal of making money right here and now. It could be the goal selling the company after some time. The goal may vary, but I always focus on that goal. In work, where a person is employed, if they are fundamentally very clearly focused on the goal of earning money, they start to look more broadly. How can I truly earn money in this company? How can I truly achieve results in this company? Well, let's be honest. If you are a manipulative person and want to earn money for free and are ready to deceive others, then this story also helps a lot. Because when you are focused solely on this block, you will never get into any argument with anyone. It's amazing, but you won't have a single argument because it's very easy to build a behavior strategy based on one goal, not 40 goals, especially those that work automatically inside you, which you don't diagnose. How does your physical body react to this? How does your emotional state react to this? How does your mood react to this? How do the thoughts that appear inside you react to this if you are focused on making money? Because in most cases, earning money is still related to the result you will further bring. There are jobs where you really need to maintain a certain mechanism from the perspective, for example, of companies that care about you just showing up to work. And just visiting the company's office gives a monetary result, But I want to tell you honestly that even if you achieve this, and I suggest to you, if you are a person who wants to develop, truly develop, a person who wants to scale, not just grow by 5, 10, 15%, but scale by multiples, by tens, by hundreds of times, as a person, as an individual, as a spiritual being, as a professional, as a businessman, as a father, as a husband, as a mom, as a brother, as a sister, as a child. You want to scale as a friend, as a partner, to have the mindset that you can be in a large number of businesses, different professions, or in one profession, or in one business, wherever you want. When you focus on one goal, a very clear, distinct goal, and constantly make all decisions through this goal, try to do this for at least a week. If you do this for a month in absolutely all situations, once again, if you are a person who wants to develop, and at some point you will understand that to earn money, imagine that to earn money, you just need to come to the office. You will understand this and see it. Then you will not deceive anyone or anything. Then you will understand this very clearly and consciously. At this moment, a true understanding arises of how to communicate with a manager in terms of the motivation system or in terms of bonuses. Is it necessary to defend your interests in another country or not? Or does it not matter at all? I've seen so many people endlessly argue, quarrel, and defend their interests. Then they were offered another job, they left, and didn't even remember the previous job. Why did they quarrel? Why did they argue? Why did they harm themselves personally? Then harm their surroundings and home. Where do they bring this? Discussions, comparisons they arrange after and outside of work, and harm at work itself with their quarrels and conflicts. But in the future, but still in the history of the fact that I have been managing companies and various projects for more than 15 years, of course, even already 18 or 19 years. So, of course, I have observed an incredible number of people who probably spent 70% of their communication, 70% of interaction. People are endlessly in a zone of some experiences, discussions, those will be blocks that personally have no significance for them. Again, it's very easy to understand. Remember a job you worked at 5 years ago, for example, which you no longer hear about, where you changed 5 years ago. You will not remember most of the details, tasks you did, or conflicts that occurred. Imagine a manager is speaking, sharing some new idea or news. You get a strange feeling of disagreement. This in general doesn't concern you at all. It has nothing to do with you. You're just wasting energy on it. It's like watching political news, spending time on discussions, arguments, conflicts and worries, but truly having no relation to it. And you always need to decide, why am I watching political news? Why am I reading some professional literature? Why did I send my child to kindergarten? Why did I read this novel tonight? Why am I going to a certain meeting tomorrow? Why do I do tasks at work? Because at work, it is incredibly important to focus on tasks with one goal in mind. Once again, this allows you to go through the problem of your various internal states and truly help yourself, truly help the company. In most cases, people who get fixated on such stories need interesting communication, they need a company with values, and the relationships within the company are very important to them. What matters to them is what kind of leader they have. Their own interests and moods are important to them. For the most part, a person is concentrated and focused exclusively, solely on themselves. Surprisingly, no matter how it sounds, for a person who lives by true values, truly, genuinely lives from freedom and love for another person, this focus on money allows them to easily overcome a large number of barriers, and most importantly, to interact with different people in life. No one hinders you further when you understand that a large amount of work you do does not affect your earnings. But again, only if you do not come to work solely by time, it does not affect your earnings in any way, and allows you to bring something new to your own development, to the development of people around you. To truly develop professionally rather than setting a fictional goal that work should bring not only money but also professional or personal development. 9 out of 10 people in this case are under the illusion that their work brings them some development. They are endlessly searching. Truly, all the people who are in search of interesting work, in search of work that brings mood, in search of work that brings joy, 9 out of 10 of these people, they are searching for years. Because it's amazing that if you come to work only to earn money and consciously understand just how to do it, and then at the very least, you don't have a whole layer of negative things that you haven't realized. You have no idea if your work is interesting or not. What difference does it make? You have no idea if you're developing or not. What difference does it make? It's important that there is work that does not bring you development. If you're focused only on money, you don't have a problem with this work not bringing development. But if you are focused on both money and development, and the work does not bring you development, you have a problem. You have huge concerns about this. This is a path, it is not a constant, it is not a path for your entire life, for decades in terms of professional development. I talk a lot about how your professional development will happen for decades to come. I have a huge number of videos on the channel. I talk about this a lot in my closed program V100. By the way, write who among you is in my closed program V100 and who has watched other videos, who has watched on this topic. What realizations do you have? What thoughts do you have on this topic in general? Don't forget to support the channel. It's very important and helpful. I make a lot of different videos. For a long time, every comment and like from you helps the channel grow. So I keep talking a lot about the fact that you still have decades of professional activity ahead. Decades. But in the end, a person doesn't just think. They don't even think about their professional activity. They think, yes, at this moment I like this colleague of mine who brought an idea, or I think he stole my idea. The manager says good things, or I just need his praise, and that's why I disagree with him. And this person had a quarrel, well, inside the company, and he causes me a huge amount of disgust, negative emotions, and I won't work. Is this truly the correct structure, or the correct structure if you signed a work contract that makes no mention of your emotional state? Please note that 99.9% of employment contracts do not mention your mood, your interest, or your emotional state. They have very clearly defined goals, tasks, functions, legal features, legality, and your salary, but not your emotional state. This is a big problem. If this is an important criterion for you, then you should document it at least in documents, or this interest should be protected by law. You know, I realized an interesting thing in the States.
I live in the USA in California, and here you can swear at a police officer. I haven't done it and won't do it, but it can be done.
And in most states, the police officer won't do anything to you. He can't do anything to you. He can't punish you in any way. If you perform these actions and they do not pose any threat to the lives of other people, do not create any precedents, then in general, court precedents clearly state that police officers must be balanced individuals, much more balanced than ordinary citizens. They should calmly react to statements, including profanity. For me, of course, as someone who was born in Minsk and lived in Belarus for a considerable amount of time, and then lived for 12 years in Moscow, it is astonishing. Imagine 40 years. Yes, I lived in Minsk for 27 years and in Moscow for 12 years, almost 40 years. I am amazed to hear such a thing. How is this possible? The essence is that there is a law that states what can be done and what cannot be done. And there are rules that state what can be done and what cannot be done. Rules are prescribed. If you discuss these issues very clearly in documents with employers, talk about them, and not just as some rhetoric from the CEO or company owners, or the company brand, or HR within the company, the personnel or marketing department, who say that our company carries values. Do you know how many companies in the world claim they uphold values? But if you really look at how they communicate, especially companies where hundreds of thousands of people work, large, well-known brands that everyone loves to cite as examples for their incredibly cool corporate culture, for their beautiful offices, buildings, structures, for greenery, for breakfasts and lunches, and for dinners, for gyms, for psychological help, for a lot of things. These companies treat most of their employees in a very servile manner, I would say. Of course, they operate within the laws of the countries where they are located. It's just about conveying values to specific places. And when the situation changes, these people quickly forget about these values. Because the question is always, what is your true inner core? And I wasn't wrong when I told you that when you set a goal to earn only money, it doesn't relieve you of the responsibility in life for the real activities, the real values, and the guidelines you follow in life. By what laws of the universe do you live in this life? Just watch the video about the laws of the universe.